Right now, at this very moment, two nations, the two most powerful on Earth, are racing toward a gray, airless wasteland 240,000 miles above your head. Not for ideology, not for flags, though flags will come. They are racing for something far older and far more dangerous: real estate. Hidden inside the permanently shadowed craters of the moon's south pole, in places where sunlight has not touched the ground in over 3 billion years, there is water ice, frozen since before life existed on this planet. And whoever controls that ice controls the future of all human spaceflight. This is the story of how America intends to claim it, and what could go wrong. NASA has a plan, not a modest one, not a careful one. They are going to build a city on the moon, a permanent human settlement, hundreds of square miles of interconnected infrastructure, habitats, power stations, mining operations, launch pads, roads. A civilization transplanted 250,000 miles into space, and they need to move fast, because China is already on the way. The program is called Artemis, named, appropriately, for the twin sister of Apollo, the goddess of the hunt. And this time, the hunt isn't just for glory, it's for the most strategically valuable terrain in the inner solar system. NASA's own administrator has described what is unfolding right now as a direct competition with China. Not a scientific exchange, not a cooperative venture, a race. And the prize isn't just national prestige, it's water. Water ice on the moon is not just drinking water. In space, water is rocket fuel. Split water into hydrogen and oxygen, and you have the most powerful chemical propellant ever burned in an engine. A moon base with reliable access to water ice becomes a refueling station. The first gas station on the highway to Mars, to the asteroid belt, to the outer solar system. Whoever controls the ice controls every mission that comes after. This is why it matters. This is why the race is real. And it all starts with 3 missions. The first mission in NASA's new lunar campaign has a name that sounds almost understated: Moonbase 1. It will be the first privately funded lunar landing in history. No taxpayer money. The bill, in its entirety, goes to one man, Jeff Bezos, and the aerospace company he founded 2 decades ago, Blue Origin. The rocket, New Glenn, named for John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. The lander has already been built, tested, and christened. Its name is Endurance. The irony of that name is not small. On May 28, 2025, a fully fueled New Glenn booster was undergoing an engine hot fire test at Cape Canaveral. What happened next was the second most powerful rocket explosion in the history of human spaceflight, second only to the Soviet N-1 disaster of 1969. When the Soviet Union's moon rocket exploded on the pad with such force, it destroyed the entire launch complex, effectively ending the Soviet lunar program. The closest equivalent in modern American spaceflight was a SpaceX Falcon 9 explosion in 2016. That one took 15 months to recover from. Elon Musk was so disturbed by the suddenness of the explosion that he publicly alleged it was sabotage. He was never able to prove it. But even that explosion, frame by frame, was slower, less violent. This was something else. The damage was enormous. The lightning protection tower, gone. The transporter erector vehicle, a custom-built machine worth hundreds of millions of dollars, the kind of thing you can't order from a catalog, crumpled and scarred. On Earth, when a building collapses, we rebuild. But in the space industry, some things cannot be replaced quickly. They are one-of-a-kind artifacts, engineered over years, manufactured by hand, tested in conditions no factory floor can replicate. Losing one is like losing a cathedral. And yet, in the days following the explosion, Blue Origin CEO released a statement that surprised the industry. The propellant storage tanks, the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, and methane systems that feed the rocket were intact. The water tower was intact. And in a development no one expected, the company revealed they had already begun designing a new launch procedure that would eliminate the transporter erector entirely. In destroying the old system, the explosion had, accidentally, cleared the path to a better one. Dave Lim's prediction, "We will fly again before the end of this year," half of what most experts thought possible. But this entire program, as we will see, is built on high expectations and compressed timelines. When Endurance eventually lands, on a landing site called the Shackleton Connecting Ridge, it will be touching down on one of the most strategically valuable pieces of real estate in the solar system. The ridge offers something almost impossibly valuable: permanent sunlight above and permanent shadow below. From the highest points of the ridge, solar panels can generate electricity every hour of every day, forever. And from that same position, you can reach down into the crater floor below, where water ice has been sitting undisturbed for 3 billion years. Heat on the ridge, water in the dark, power and fuel within walking distance of each other. This is not just a good location. It is, geographically speaking, the most perfect location for a human settlement outside Earth that we have ever found. And China knows it too. China's next robotic lunar mission, Chang 7, is targeting a ridge on the opposite side of the same crater. The neighbors are already moving in. The second mission in the plan, Moonbase 2, takes advantage of a rocket already proven and a timeline already set. It could launch as early as the summer of 2026. NASA will partner with Astrobotic, an American robotics company, whose Griffin 1 lander platform will carry the largest commercial payload ever delivered to the lunar surface. International partners from multiple nations have contributed payloads. It is, in miniature, what the moon base itself is meant to be: a collaborative human effort. The landing site is the Nobile Crater, a region NASA has been planning to explore with their Viper rover. But first comes something smaller, something lighter: a Scout. The Flex rover, built by American company Astrolab, will descend to the surface and begin testing the technologies that future lunar vehicles will depend on. New battery chemistries designed to function in temperatures that drop below -150 degrees Celsius. New tire compounds engineered for lunar regolith, a surface that looks like soil but cuts like ground glass. And autonomous AI navigation systems that can make real-time decisions without waiting for instructions from Earth. Because here is a fact about the moon that most people don't consider. The speed of light is not fast enough. Every command sent from Earth reaches the moon over a second later. Every response takes another second to come back. A rover driving at 10 kilometers per hour toward an unseen obstacle would travel nearly 6 meters before a human operator on Earth even received the image. On the moon, you cannot drive by remote control. The rover must think for itself. And then there is Moonbase 3. Something scientists still don't fully understand. On the near side of the moon, visible from Earth with a good telescope, there exists an anomaly called the Rainer Gamma Swirl. It is one of the strangest things in the solar system. A vast, bright region of the lunar surface, hundreds of kilometers wide, patterned into an unmistakable swirl, lighter than everything around it, impossibly geometric for a geological feature. And science, for all its power, has not given us a clean answer for why it exists. The leading theory, a magnetic anomaly buried in the crust beneath the swirl, is deflecting charged particles from the solar wind, essentially creating a localized magnetic shield. The protected surface beneath it has not been darkened by solar radiation the way the rest of the moon has. The swirl is, in a sense, a tan line, the shadow cast by an invisible magnetic umbrella. If that theory is correct, the implications are profound, because human beings are not built for space radiation. Without Earth's magnetic field and atmosphere protecting us, long-duration exposure to solar and cosmic radiation is one of the primary threats to human survival beyond Earth. But if the moon itself can generate magnetic shielding, if we can understand how it works and learn to harness it, then we might be able to build radiation-safe habitats without kilometers of rock overhead. We might be able to live on the surface. Scientists still don't fully understand the mechanism, which is why NASA is sending a lander to find out. The mission will deploy a payload called Lunar Vertex, a surface station designed to map the local magnetic field environment in detail never before achieved. The company responsible is Intuitive Machines, a company that has attempted 2 previous lunar landings. Both failed. There are 2 ways to look at this. Either this is a team that has learned more from failure than anyone else in the lunar landing business, experience bought at the highest possible price. Or this is a team that has not yet demonstrated it can succeed. NASA officials, in carefully chosen words, made clear, the time for learning from mistakes is ending. Now, they learn to get it right. JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is where NASA sends the hardest problems. They built the rovers that crossed Mars. They built the probe that flew past Pluto. They built the instruments that detected gravitational waves rippling through space-time. Now they are building drones, not ordinary drones. Autonomous, rocket-powered surveying vehicles designed to fly, land, and take off on the surface of the moon. In an environment with no atmosphere, no GPS, no magnetic north, and gravity 1/6 that of Earth. They are called Moonfall, and their mission is extraordinary in its ambition. Across the several hundred square miles of terrain that NASA intends to develop as a moon base, Moonfall drones will fly systematic survey patterns, mapping the surface at a resolution of 1 centimeter per pixel. 1 centimeter per pixel, 100 times sharper than any map of the moon ever created. And while they fly, they will also scan beneath the surface, using ground-penetrating radar to search for water ice deposits up to 1 meter underground. The drones will see what no human eye has ever seen: the frozen history of water on the moon mapped in extraordinary detail. But the most remarkable instruction NASA has given these drones has nothing to do with science. When the survey is done, when the maps are drawn and the ice deposits are catalogued, the Moonfall drones will be positioned at strategic points around the perimeter of the planned moon base site. And in a phrase NASA used quietly, almost in passing, they will establish a perimeter. In the history of human expansion, there is a word for when you plant a marker and declare that everything inside it belongs to you. That word is claim. NASA has not explicitly called it that, but the Artemis Accords, the international framework the United States has built for lunar operations, now signed by 67 nations, does not include Russia or China. The two great rival powers have not agreed to American terms for how the moon is governed. Administrator Isaacman has made NASA's position plain. This will not be like the International Space Station, where partner nations own and have autonomy over their sections. The moon base will be under American control. Allies are welcome. But there is one flag on the deed. 60 years ago, humans went to the moon to prove something. To demonstrate scientific and technological supremacy in a Cold War that could have ended the world. They left footprints, planted flags, and came home. This time, they are not coming home. Before humans walk more than a few hundred meters from their lander, they will need wheels. The Lunar Terrain Vehicles, LTVs, will be the key to the entire South Pole operation. Without them, astronauts are limited to the narrow envelope of whatever they can reach on foot in a pressurized spacesuit. With them, the entire plateau opens up. Every crater rim, every ridge, every ice deposit within 200 kilometers. 2 LTV contracts have been awarded. The first goes to Astrolab, their Flex platform, a larger version of the Flip rover deployed on Moonbase 2. The second goes to Lunar Outpost, their Pegasus rover, designed in partnership with General Motors and Goodyear. General Motors, the company that put men on the moon's rover in 1971 and has never stopped thinking about going back. Both vehicles must be designed like mechanical origami, folded small enough to fit inside a lander, then capable of unfolding themselves on the lunar surface without human assistance. Both must carry 2 fully suited astronauts. Both must sustain continuous operation in temperatures that swing from 127 degrees Celsius in sunlight to -173 in shadow. Their range, 200 kilometers. Their maximum speed, 10 kilometers per hour. In the silence of the lunar surface, under a black sky full of unblinking stars, 2 astronauts will one day drive across an alien world at a speed slower than a bicycle. And it will feel like flying. These are the first-generation vehicles, built for exploration, for surface science, for establishing what is and isn't possible. But they are already being designed with Phase 2 in mind. Pressurized rovers, mobile habitats, vehicles where astronauts can remove their suits, breathe recycled air, eat, sleep, and travel for days or weeks at a time. covering distances so great that the moon base itself becomes just one node in a vast network of human activity. That is the moon NASA wants to build. But first, they have to get there. In 1969, the Apollo program cost the equivalent of over 280 billion modern dollars. It was funded entirely by the American government, by American taxpayers who never voted on it and never saw a financial return from it. For a decade, the most expensive engineering project in human history ran on national will and geopolitical fear. And then the fear receded, and the will ran out. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman has said something remarkable, something rarely stated so plainly by a government official. We will never have a true spacefaring civilization if space exploration is perpetually funded by taxpayers. Private industry must bring capitalism to the moon. Something up there must generate enough value to offset the cost of going there. Resources that can be used, energy that can be sold. A platform that opens access to everything beyond it. Water, ice into rocket fuel. Helium-3 into fusion energy. Rare minerals the Earth is running out of. Or simply the location itself. The high ground of the inner solar system, from which every other destination in space is more accessible. The math hasn't been solved yet. The business model is still theoretical. No company has yet found the lunar revenue stream that makes private investment rational rather than aspirational. But they are looking, and whoever finds it, whoever finds the thing that makes the moon profitable, will not be planting a flag. They will be building a bank. Here is the truth about what is being built. It is not a science station. It is not a flag. It is the beginning of the most fundamental expansion in the history of the human species. Every civilization in human history has been constrained by the same boundary. One planet, one biosphere, one thin shell of air and water and warmth that has sustained every living thing that has ever been born, lived, and died on this earth. For the first time in our species' existence, that is about to change. Not in a generation, not in a century. Now, in the next decade, in the lifetimes of people already alive, the foundation will be laid, the explosions will happen, the schedules will slip, the rockets will fail and be rebuilt and fail again. This is the history of every hard thing humans have ever tried. Every ship that has ever crossed an ocean began by sinking one. But the direction is set, the destination is chosen. And 240,000 miles away, in a place where the sun never rises and never fully sets, where ice has been waiting for 3 billion years in the dark of an ancient crater, something is already underway. A civilization is being born. Somewhere in the darkness of the moon's south pole, the first foundations of another world are being planned. And this is only the first chapter. Subscribe and join us as we follow humanity's journey beyond Earth.